Good morning, Opteck traders. Here's your host, Don Kingsley, calling live from Opteck headquarters. It's a beautiful Friday, August 15th, 2014. Let's get going on the daily market review. Today on Forex Factory, we have a number of major announcements. This calendar is set to GMT time, so please adjust your calendars to make sure you have the right time for the announcement. We have second estimate GDP quarterly for the British pound, manufacturing sales monthly for Canadian dollars, as well as later on today, PPI announcements, as well as preliminary consumer sentiment for United States. Let's take a look at why some of these announcements are important. And by the way, I used the filter to get rid of all the other minor announcements that are happening on today. But if you wanted to, you can always click the filter in the top right-hand corner. Click on these two flags and then apply the filter and you'll see the adjustment. So taking a deeper look, we have a lot of minor announcements on the United States dollar. So it seems that USD is definitely the currency to trade on today, simply because of the volatility that we're going to be experiencing later on, especially around 3 o'clock with the preliminary consumer sentiment report. Now, why is this important? Well, it's very, very important because it creates financial confidence as a leading indicator for consumer spending. And part of the growth and why Americans it's important that we understand what they're spending, how they're spending, and what's the overall sentiment of the growth of the economy. That's why they do these preliminary reports. It's done by the University of Michigan. If you actually click on the latest release, it will provide you with survey results as well as extra information. So if you want to do some reading on your own, you can learn and do that. Let's take a look at the history, though, on a graph scale. So consumer sentiment ranges on a scale, looks like from 0 to 100. 100 being, I guess, everybody's confident and the economy is the best it'll ever be, and 0 is it's the Great Depression. So right now we're getting, looks like B plus, maybe B minus scores. 81.3 is what's expected. Actually, the forecast is 82.7. If we see anything above that number, we're going to see a positive result, and henceforth we will see the U.S. dollar increase in value. Now, what does that mean? That means for assets like Euro USD, we're going to take down. Why? Because the U.S. dollar will become heavier on its side compared to the euro, and so we'll take it going down for the end of the day. As well as other assets that the U.S. is the major pair, like U.S. dollar Swiss franc, U.S. dollar Japanese yen, U.S. dollar Canadian dollar. Those assets will take going up. So assets in which U.S. dollar is the minor currency, such as Euro USD, Australian dollar USD, British pound USD, that's GBP USD, we're all taking down. And USD CHF, that's U.S. dollar Swiss franc, U.S. dollar JPY, Japanese yen, and U.S. dollar Canadian dollar, we're all taking to go upstairs. Now, it may be interesting based on the results for the Canadian manufacturing sales, so perhaps U.S. dollar, Canadian dollar might want to avoid, because if we see both positive results for each currency, we're going to see not a very specific trend. It's going to be fluctuating up and down, so it could be very difficult, even with chart analysis, to provide the perfect entry point for trades, because the result will be a mixed bag. However, assets that don't have at least the minor or the major currencies that it's paired with does not have a major announcement, like Euro USD today. Great asset to trade on, because one asset will be stable and static, like the euro, and the other one will be volatile and fluctuating, like the US dollar. Later on, though, next week, we're going to see much, much better announcements, because there will be more of them. Now, let's get into which ones we want to focus on, because depending on the type of announcement that you're focusing on, you're going to see different results. So I like to personally focus on growth results, as well as unemployment. So unemployment is a very, very important indicator, especially for the U.S. economy. So unemployment claims coming out next Thursday, which are released every Thursday of the week, is coming out next Thursday. The previous forecast and result that was yesterday was negative. It was 311,000 unemployment claims compared to the forecasted 307, so it was much, much more than usual. Although in previous previous performance this year, we've seen it gone down. If you can imagine a trend line here, you can see even though there were some spikes, it's continuously dropped. Compared to, let's say, at the end of 2013, December 2013, 380,000 claims. Even in 2013, its peak was 432. We've come so far. So it's important to know that this indicator is important. If we see a positive result, U.S. dollar will gain even more strength. Also, next Thursday, we're seeing a lot of announcements in the euro. French flash manufacturing as well as German flash manufacturing PMI, as well as retail sales per month on British pounds. And on Friday, we're going to see also extra results here on the Canadian dollar, but these two are going to be very interesting. U.S. dollar Federal Reserve Chairwoman Janet Yellen will be speaking, as well as President Draghi of the ECB. Now, you don't have past performances for speeches, of course, because no one measures a speech unless they start doing that, in which case, get on your saddle, folks. It's going to be interesting. But the reason why that these speeches are important is because simply when they are speaking, there's a lot of volatility because the market is driven on three things: fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And when those three things are present and active in the market, especially when someone important is speaking, like the Federal Reserve Chair or the ECB President, you're going to have assets that are going to be fluctuating at very, very high and very, very low values. So looks like Euro USD next Friday at 3 o'clock probably will drop as a result of the gaining of strength from the U.S. dollar, and then it will pick back up later as President Draghi is speaking that evening. So keep in mind that it's going to be a very, very volatile asset, Euro USD, but at certain times it's going to have certain trends. So always keep that in mind when you're trading on any asset, that check Forex Factory for the results and check what the result is and how it's going to affect each currency. That's pretty much the wrap-up for today's Daily Market Review. This is Don Kingsley from Opteck headquarters. Have a great day and happy trading, everyone.